So this is going to be an instructional slash overview video of the 2025 Hymer B-Class Masterline I890. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the vehicle, and then we will go into the habitation and cab area. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to open the bonnet. And the two reasons for this: one, obviously so you know how to open the bonnet, and then two, to show you where some of the compartments are underneath the bonnet, i.e. your screen wash fill, and how to jump start the vehicle where your terminal points are. So to open the bonnet, you need to come to the passenger door. When you do open this passenger door, the electric step automatically slides out. And then to open the bonnet, there's a lever just there. You just need to pull that down once, and that will then release the bonnet. So now that I have released the bonnet, all you need to do is grab hold at the bottom, pull it up. As you can see, it is on gas struts, and then that will give you access to the engine area. So one of the reasons you'll need access here most of the time is you've got AdBlue on this system. So this is where you fill your AdBlue up. Obviously we've got your engine oil here. Down here we have got your screen wash fill, and then if we need to jump start the vehicle for any reason, here we've got your positive terminal point. So all you need to do is push this red cap in, and that is your positive point. And then I'll try and show you and zoom in, but that little nipple there, that bolt there, is going to be your negative terminal point. And then to shut the bonnet, all you need to do is push it down, and then you need two hands for this, one on each side. If you push it in, that will then click and lock back into place. So now we are going to carry on around the external of the vehicle. We'll start on the passenger side. So like I said, when you open the passenger door, the step automatically slides out. As soon as you close the door, it automatically goes in. Here we have your diesel fill, so you just need to use your vehicle blade key for this, and that will give you access there. The first compartment we come to is going to be your gas locker. So in here you can fit two gas tanks in here, and then we've got your gas regulator up here. So as you can see, the hoses are already connected. One thing to keep in mind if you do connect gas up is once you connect the tank up to the hose, you do need to press this black button on top when you turn the gas on. Basically that is a safety device, but when you turn the gas on and then press it, that purges the gas through the valve. That's like I say, a safety device. If whatever reason, obviously if you have an accident, then this will, if this breaks off, then that will hopefully stop the gas coming out of the gas tank. Up here we have a changeover valve, and what this is, at the minute it's pointing to the left side, so we're currently using the left hand tank. Once we run out, to save messing around with the hoses, you can just twist it to the right hand side and use the next tank in effect. So that is your gas locker. One thing I've just noticed as well is obviously we've got a grey hose in here, so this is where this is stored. Basically that grey hose goes onto your grey waste, which is at the rear of the vehicle on the passenger side. So basically that grey connection there, the grey hose is if you want to extend the grey waste drain to a grid, or if you can drive over a grid, you can just pour it directly out from there. So that grey hose is just an extension piece, if you do need it or not. Next, we've got a belly locker here. And the reason you need to come into this belly locker is you do have some drain valves here. So the yellow valve is to drain your boiler. So you've got an Aldi heating and water system on this. So in the vertical position, which you can see it now, that is open. So that means the water will drain directly out of the boiler. To close this, all you need to do is knock it down, and that will isolate the valve. And then when you are priming your water system, the water's not going to pour directly out. It's then going to go into your boiler and fill the boiler up with water. As you can see, there's two blue valves there. They're just twist valves, but basically you need to open these as well. So any valves in the motorhome, you open them. Obviously, if you're not using it in winter, or if you're not using it for a few weeks, to drain all the water out, and then obviously close all the valves if you are wanting to use the motorhome. So these two blue ones are just doing the pipe work in the motorhome, because this is a long vehicle. You've got quite a bit of cold pipe work running through the motorhome, so these are just extra valves to drain any excess water in the pipe work. So you do need to shut both of them blue valves, which, like I say, they are just a twist. And then here, which is not currently in just yet, but you will have a water filter which connects here as well. Directly above that, here we have your boiler flue. So you just need to keep this clear at all times, especially obviously when the boiler is running on gas, because this is where your fumes exhaust from. It does get quite hot. Next, we have a bigger belly locker, but this one, as you can see on the other side, I've got it open. You can go all the way through, so you can fit obviously skis in here, surfboard, snowboard. You've got a lot of space in here. Not only that, in the Habitation, you've got access to this belly locker through the floor as well. Here we have your fresh water. So this is where you need to. This is where you will fill up. All you need is your Habitation key. Take this blue cap off, put the hose pipe in, and then when the water starts to come out, that means the fresh water tank is completely full. To shut the fresh water tank valve, that is inside the motorhome, which we will get to. So like I say, if you're filling up anything in the motorhome, the first thing you need to do is shut all the valves. So you need to shut the boiler valve down there, the water pipe valves. You need to shut the fresh water tank valve, because obviously if you're filling up, it's just going to pour out, which is inside. And then obviously your grey waste release valve. Your grey waste comes out here underneath the rear axle, but to drain your grey waste, it's controlled in the cab area, which we will get to. This vehicle does have steadies, so basically you put an arm on and then you twist down the support leg there, and then obviously basically what that does, it just stops, if you are stationary for a while in the same place, it just stops any movement when walking in, stops anything rocking, because when people are walking around in the motorhome, it can potentially obviously rock, as well as when the wind is quite high, then obviously that will support and keep you steady as possible. Not only that, this vehicle does have full air suspension, which is controlled in the cab area. So the last part on the passenger side is obviously the garage. So you've got large garage door on a gas strut. You got lights in here, So these will work when the 12 volt system is on. And then here, as you can see, we've got infill cushions. So this is to on the drop down bed at the front over the cab. You can create 2 single beds in there, or obviously it can be used as a king queen size. And then here we have another option, which is the dinette to berth. So these are the 2 cushions you use to create the dinette to berth. One's got legs on it for support. Here we've got 2 arms. So this one is for your rear steadies. So that's to wind them down. And then this other one is your awning winder. Your awning winder you won't need to use, because on this vehicle it does have an electric awning. The reason for the awning winder is you can take a cover off and wind it in manually or out manually if the motor fails or you run out of power. As you can see, we can see the bed from here. So this island bed is adjustable in height, so you can move it up all the way to the top, so it gives you more garage space, and then you can in effect fit a motorbike inside here. If you want the island bed lower like it is now, obviously it reduces your garage space for storage, but then you have you have an easy way to obviously to get into bed when it is lower. As you can see, it's got a nice fold away like shelf, which obviously keeps it looking tidy. So that is on the passenger side of the motorhome. We've got a reverse camera on here as well. Just one thing to keep in mind on the cameras is when you are reversing, you are better off using a spotter as well at the back of the vehicle, because the cameras are quite deceiving. They're not like a car camera. Now we are on the driver's side. So in here we've got loads of stuff. So in this bag it's an external screen cover for the front of the window. You got some chocks there to stop anything rolling. You've got you got your instructions in here, your towing eye, you got inflation kit. There's quite a bit of stuff inside here. You got headrests, because this is actually a 5 travel motorhome and 5 berth, but the headrests have been taken off because you'll see when we get inside there is a TV behind, which I've got open at the moment. Here we've got 2 40 volt sockets, so these will work when you're connected to mains hookup. Not only that, this vehicle does have an inverter, so it will work if the inverter is on, and then obviously that is using your batteries. We have got these rails in the motorhome, so you can adjust these, slide them along, tighten them up. You've got them on the floor as well, just there. You got them on the right, you got them all over, so basically they're just tie down points. So if you have got a motorbike in here, you can strap it down to the vehicle. Here we've got obviously your external shower. So you've got hot and cold tap there. The hot will only work obviously if you have turned the boiler on and heated that hot water up. It's not instant hot water, but you've got your tap here. Not only that, it is on a trigger point as well on top. You will need to turn on your pump for this, which we will get to in the Habitation. On this side, you've got another light, and then you have got a control here for your bed. So this is the one where, as you can see, the bed is going up. So then now, that is all the way to the top. I can lift this board up, and as you can see, that is giving me a lot more room in the garage. Again, this will probably only work with the 12 volt control panel on, because obviously it needs power for the motor. As you can see, I am connected to mains hookup, so this is where you plug in when you're at campsite, or if you've got power at home to keep the motorhome on charge. This is where you do plug in. Next we've got belly locker. Again, this is the one what you can see through all the way to the other side. On these belly lockers, to close them, you just need to lift this support arm up, and that releases, and like so goes down. And then all you need to do is twist these, put your Habitation key in, 180 turn, and then when you push these in, they stay in and lock. Above we have got your toilet cassette. So on your toilet cassette, if we want to empty or clean the cassette, the first thing we need to do is take this hose off. So this is just aerated, and basically you do have a cover cap there. You put the blanking cover on just so obviously no fluids are coming out, and then if you lift this orange tab up, pull the cassette towards you, that will then release the toilet cassette. So if I want to empty this cassette, I need to twist this orange nozzle out to the left. If I take this grey cap off and then tilt up the cassette, as you can see, once I've tilted it up, if I put my thumb on the button here and press hold of the button in, that lets air into the top of the cassette, so all the fluids flow out a lot faster. If you want to clean inside the cassette, you can open the blade like so and then twist this, and that opens the toilet cassette, so you can obviously put a hose pipe in there and flush it out as well. Once finished cleaning, all you need to do is slide your toilet cassette back into place, and the main thing you need to do here is just make sure that this orange tab is down secure, because then obviously your cassette is not going to move in and out when in transit. And then don't forget to take the cover off the bung and put this hose back in. Here we have an external barbecue point, so you just need to get a quick release connection on the end of here, and then obviously this is the tap to open the gas valve and shut the gas valve. As you can see, we have got an electric fold-away step, and then the last thing externally is obviously your awning. So you've got a little remote like this. So there we go, it's focusing. So you've got a little remote, and basically to release the awning, press the button, but just make sure you've got hold of the remote still, because the awning will carry on until it reaches either the end of how far it can come out, or until you stop it. So as you can see, it's coming out automatically. What you need to do is stop the awning at a reasonable height where you can reach, and basically when you can reach it, in here we have support legs, so these just need to be released, and then obviously you'll have your support arms on each corner. And then if you want the awning to go out more, once you've got the support legs set up, then in effect you can use the remote again to start pushing out the awning and walk out the legs. So then obviously you've got the awning supported all the way out. Once finished, put your legs, foldable away legs back in the tray here, and then again use the remote. If you press in there, the arrow up, the awning will go all the way in, back to its home position. You won't need to do anything else. As you can see, like so. So on the Habitation door, we do have a bin. One thing to keep in mind with this bin is if you have got this fly screen open, obviously make sure it's not windy, because if the wind gets hold of the Habitation door and shuts it, it will potentially break the fly screen. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then here we have your controls for the electric step. So just press it once and it will go in like so. If you want it to come out, press it the other way and obviously it folds out. You got 3-pin socket there, and then you've got light switches as well. The light switches are dimmable. To use these to dim, to turn them on and off, just press it once and it will turn the lights on and off. To use the dimmable mode, once you turn the light on, you just need to press and hold, and then they will go brighter or obviously dimmer. So now we are in the Habitation area. Directly above the Habitation door, we have your Hymer control panel, which is touchscreen. So if you touch it once, let it load, and as you can see, we've got a few settings on here. I'm going to try and show this the best as possible, but basically it's asking for an update, which we'll do that later. So we've got 12 volts. As you can see, it's in a colour of orange. Basically that means it's on. The next one is a plug socket. So the plug socket is obviously when I'm connected to mains hookup. That's indicating that I am physically connected to shore. If I plug in and this plug socket doesn't light up, there's a fault somewhere. 9 times out of 10, it is the campsite post that is tripped, because they do reduce the power they give you. If it doesn't light up when you do plug in and the campsite post hasn't tripped, try and change the plug on the post. Or the next thing to check is down on the floor here is you've got your main breaker as well. So this is your 240 volt side. This is where you need to check in case anything's tripped in here as well, but we'll get to that very soon. Next we have your water pump. As you can see, I've got that turned off. Now I've just turned it on. So on the water pump, they are triggered by when you open the tap, because the tap does have mica switches on. But one thing to keep in mind, if you're not using the pump or the taps, turn the pump off, especially if you've no water in the tank, because if the tap is open slightly, then the pump will be running dry. And obviously if you run the pump dry, eventually you will burn out the motor. As you can see, we've got some levels here. Just trying to, that's a bit better. Just shutting the blind so you can see the screen. So up here at the top, you've got vehicle battery. So that's giving you obviously your volts and your charge level. Main battery, which is your Habitation, which is at 100%. You've got your fresh water level, which is at 0, and then your grey waste, which is at 0 as well. On commercials, as you can see, I can turn the lights on from here. So if I turn them off here, obviously the lights have gone off. If I turn them back on, they will all come back on. If I've switched off some of the lights at the master switch, i.e. these switches here, then obviously they might not come back on until you switch them back on. You can change the brightness of them all together, and then also you can change the light temperature. So you can go from warm light to cool. Below that we've got your fridge, so you can turn on the fridge from here. We can select the temperature, we can select gas, 12 volt, 230 or auto. We can turn the fridge on from this control panel. You can turn it on through the Hymer app as well. Not only that, then you can turn it on by the fridge itself. I'll show you how to turn it on from the fridge. You got personal, so again this is lights. This is doing the rear of the motorhome. Here we've got on your installation, you've got your heating. So now we can turn the heating and hot water off from the control panel. We can turn it on and off from the Hymer app, or we can turn it off and on from the physical Alde heating control panel, which I'll show you. As you can see, I've got the 12 volt turned on. Boiler, so I can turn the boiler on again there for the hot water. And then you've got water pump, you can turn the water pump back on as well, but that's on the home screen. Some of these are duplicating themselves. Got vehicle details, so top one is water, obviously freshwater grey waste, which shows you on the home screen. Got your power, so this is a bit more detailed. You've got state of charge, remaining charge time. Obviously it's showing there we're connected to shore. It shows you the solar voltage, solar current. Obviously we are using the mains hookup, so obviously that will override. You've got chassis stuff, so it shows you the mileage of the vehicle. It shows you your fresh your windscreen water, if it's full or empty, your fuel level, AdBlue level, central locking. So you've got quite a lot of stuff you can do on this control panel. Also you can do all that through the Hymer app externally too. So here at the side of the control panel, behind this panel, just lift it up and you'll see here we have got your Alde heating system. To turn this on, just press on like so and it will load. Once it's turned on, you've got energy. So this is the source what I want to use. So you've got two settings. You can use 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts of electric. So if you're on campsite, you might just want to use electric only. Or if you're off grid, you'll turn on the gas. Not only that, you can use mixed. So if you're on campsite, you could put 2 kilowatts and do gas. And basically, the reason you may need to do that is because obviously if the campsite is reduced the power they give you, then obviously you can't go to 3 kilowatts straight away because you'll keep tripping. The other way to get around it is build it up in stages. Do 1 kilowatt and then move it up to 2 kilowatts once the initial build up is done. It is the initial draw that usually trips, because obviously if you're trying to put everything on full whack straight away, then obviously it may trip. On the right hand side you've got your hot water. So touch the hot water, it's off, on or boost. So boost will get the hot water boiled in probably like 10 to 15 minutes. Obviously it will heat up the hot water faster if it's burning just on gas on its own, because obviously gas, obviously you've got a solid fuel there. And then if you want to change the temperature of the heating or turn it on, press that one. And as you can see, you got your top right there, which is in green now because obviously it's saying the heating's on. I'm trying to get to 30 degrees, but I can turn this down with a plus and minus, and then we have got your fan speed in the middle. So you got two settings there, and in this motorhome, on the Alde heating system, you've got vents all the way around the edge, so it's all radiator heating. So you won't hear it blowing around. It's just like a nice ambient, obviously warm air, what comes up behind seats on vents. But on the Alde heating system, once you've fired it up, it'll take about 10-15 minutes to get the heating start circulating Obviously all the pipe work needs to get around to the radiators, because obviously the pipe work is a wet heating system, which is great. So yeah, on this it's quite straightforward, to be fair. Middle one is your heating, on or off. Menu, bottom right, hot water, touch it, on or boost or off. Energy is my source, electric or gas. As you can see again up here, we are connected to main sucker, but it's indicating that as well. To turn this off, press the button and it will shut down itself. To the right here, we have a control which is connected to the gas regulator where your gas tanks are. So if you're going somewhere really cold, if you put it up to the top, you see a light on there. That in effect is heating up the gas regulator, just so it doesn't freeze. And at the bottom, summer mode, basically you turn this on if you want to see if your gas is empty. Basically you'll get a red light up here when the gas is empty, and then obviously all you need to do is go to the changeover valve, change it to the other tank. So as you can see, we are in the cab area. So there's quite a few controls this way. So on the driver's side, we've got a few controls here. So this top one is your front blind. So this has got a shutter blind at the front. So if I press down, as you can see, we've got an electric shutter sliding all the way down. So I can have this all the way to the bottom, or if I want to stop it, like so, I can have it halfway. And then here, if you pull up, you've got another blind as well. So obviously if you don't want if you want a bit of light coming through, you can. Or obviously if you want to move the shutter so you can see through a little bit, or have more daylight coming through, you've still got privacy, and then obviously daylight is coming through. The next one here is where your grey waste releases. So basically, as you can see the red lights on, that will open the grey waste valve, and then the water will obviously pour out depending on how much water is in the fresh water, the grey waste tank. So that's electrically controlled. Here we have wind mirrors, which are obviously heated. So if you turn that on, obviously you'll get a red light on when the engine is running. And then here we have your controls for the mirrors to obviously get them set up for when you're driving. In this cupboard here, we've got USB and Type-C. So you've got charging points in here. Down here we've got obviously electric parking brake. We've got your lights. So you've got automatic as well. Fog lights. Obviously you've got all your controls on the steering wheel, cruise control. I think it's got adaptive cruise control as well. Here on the left hand side, this one here is a great function. So if you've got, if you sat down ready to set off, you turn the engine on, you might hear a beep, and basically that's indicating your electric step is still out. So the beauty of this, you've got comfortable, you're ready to set off, you hear the beep, press this button in, look in your mirror, and you'll see the step go in. You can lock and unlock the vehicle from here, and then obviously you've got a Bluetooth as well button here. Here we've got obviously your entertainment, your media. So this has got sat nav built in. Obviously it will show you all the stats for the vehicle as well. Your radio, obviously it'll have Apple CarPlay, Android Connect. We've got your climate control here. You can also download another app for the Mercedes Me. And then here we have this is the control for yourself, for your air suspension. So this will only work when the engine's on, because the engine is powering the compressor. which obviously keeps the air suspension at a certain level, which obviously you've set it at. So if you've raised it or if you lowered it, obviously you might raise it if you're going onto a ferry to try and keep the vehicle as high as possible. You do have in this pack here, you do have instructions, a full manual on this control panel and the air suspension. Here we have storage compartment. You've got a wireless charging pad here, and then you've got Type-C charging points as well, and a 12-volt socket just there. And then if you are wanting to swivel the driver or passenger seat, the arm lever at the bottom, you pull that and then that will swivel. You've got adjustments for the seat. Also, you've got heated seats as well. You've got your adjustable arms if you want to use these, make these lower. Just press and hold here and slide them down like so. So that is the cab area. Obviously we've got some lights up here. These are touch, on and off. And then now we're going to carry on around into the habitation area. As you can see, I've got the telly up. The TV is actually connected to the speakers built into the motorhome. And the beauty of that telly as well is obviously when you slide it away, which I'll show you, it turns itself off. And then obviously when you do bring the TV back up, it powers itself straight on. So as you can see, the driver and passenger seat are currently folded down. And the reason for this, if I want to use this drop down bed up here, these seats need to be folded down so the drop down bed can sit on here. To do this, all you need to do is twist these knobs here. Just be cautious because they are spring loaded, so you could potentially obviously bang yourself in the face when you are releasing them. To use this drop down bed at the front, you've got an electric control panel here. Just press and hold down, keep hold of it, and then obviously this will go all the way down, and then this will create a king / queen size bed. It's quite a large bed space. The beauty of the A-Class is because this bed is now going into the wind a bit, so then obviously it's, if one of you wake up early, you've still got some seating area here, unless obviously you do the dinette to berth conversion lower down, then obviously that is a bed as well. As you can see, we've got some lights up here. They have got USB on it as well. You've got bungee cord in the middle, which obviously you would release if you sleep in there. That is just to pull the side curtain in. You've got a skylight up here as well. And then you've got some hooks here. Basically underneath this mattress, you have got a safety net, which hooks up onto there as well. You've got your bed ladder underneath here. But if we want to sleep 2 people in single position, all you need to do is pull these out like so, put the infill cushions in, same on that side, use the ladder still in the middle, and then obviously you've got 2 single beds there. Once finished, put your bungee cord back on and then press and hold the control panel, and that will then raise up the drop down bed. Once it gets to the top, it will stop like so. This table here is adjustable. You've got on this side there's a little lever there, you release it and then it will obviously slide around. And if you want to lower this to create that dinette to berth here, all you need to do is lift it up and then push it down. It's on a gas strut, and then obviously if you want to set the table back up, lift it all the way up, push it back down, it will lock back into place. Under this seat here we have your travel seat. Like I said, this is 5x5 travel. So you've got fold away seats here, and you've got some release arms there. So in effect, you need to use these arms to lift it up so it goes into place. It's hard to show you with one hand. Obviously, they got your 2 travel seats here. You've got a lot of storage in this vehicle. Pull out drawer there. We've got your TV. Like I said, to put the TV away is controlled by an electric button. So that is the control for the TV. So if I want to put the TV away, just press and hold the button. You have to keep hold of the button though, and then obviously it will go all the way down and power off as well, like so. And then you've got a nice soft close cover on top. If you want to put the headrest back on for travelling, they're just underneath this fabric. Got a nice mirror there. Got obviously every window has blackout blinds and fly screens as well. You can wind this one up. So this skylight is, you wind it up to raise it to let obviously air in. One thing to keep in mind is this here, just be gentle with it, don't over tighten it because they are plastic cogs inside and you will potentially break them. In this cupboard here, we have got a Dometic switch. Basically that is connected to your inverter, which is under the floor, which I'll show you. But basically the inverter is set to remote, so when you are not plugged into mains hookup, if you press this button here, a red light will come on, and that means the 240 volt sockets, these sockets here, the 3-pin plugs, will work off your leisure battery when you are off grid. If you plug back into campsite, just make sure the red button, the blue button, the red light is off. Then obviously that will charge up the leisure battery. If that's on, the mains hookup is not going to charge the leisure battery, so you need to turn that off so the leisure batteries are getting charged when you are at campsite. All the cupboards are soft close as well. Same with the drawers. You've got here internal gas valves. These are currently in the open position. The reason for these, if one of the appliances goes faulty, i.e. the fridge or the cooker, you can isolate that appliance and then still use the other appliances on gas. You've got light switches just above that drawer there. So these are in the middle of the van. Got your kitchen sink here. So this is controlled, to drain it is controlled by this valve here. So that lifts the basket strainer up or down. You got your tap, which is on a swivel as well, because you have got another little drainer here. This one is manual on the basket strainer to lift it up or down. Kitchen tap. So if we want to prime our motorhome with water, the first thing we want to do, like I said outside, is shut all the valves in the motorhome. Once we fill up the fresh water tank completely full, we're going to go to your control panel, turn on the 12 volt system, then turn that pump on. When the pump is switched on, if you open the tap on the cold side, the fresh water from the fresh water tank will pump through the pipe works, and then you will get a steady flow on the tap. Once you get a steady flow on the cold side, twist it to the hot. What this is going to do now, it's going to take water from the fresh water tank, go into your boiler, and then your boiler is going to hold around 10 to 12 litres of your fresh water. Once you get a steady flow of water on the hot side, shut the tap. So now our pipe work and the boiler is all primed, full of water, ready to use. So if I want hot water, obviously I need to turn the boiler on from here, boil that water. So that is then, like I said, in effect, your water system primed, your hot water. Obviously you need to turn your boiler on because it's not instant, so you need to boil that water. We've got 3-ring gas burner. One safety advice we do recommend is obviously this glass cover. Keep this up once obviously you've used the stove, as the temperature difference in the glass and the stove could potentially shatter the glass, especially if you've got this window open because of the cold air coming in. Like I said, you've got blackout blinds on all of them, and then fly screens above. Lots of 240 volt sockets around. Large cupboard space again in the kitchen. Like I said, all soft close. You've got your oven and grill, your igniter, or your knobs for to turn on the gas. You've got a pantry here, nice pull-out drawer. As you can see, soft close, but this drawer is still unlocked. The reason I know that is because this button here is sticking out. To physically lock it, push it in, the button's now in, so that means the drawer won't come open, especially when you're driving. You don't want to hear that drawer or any of the glasses falling out. Here we've got obviously your fridge freezer. Directly above that you've got large cupboard space, so you could potentially fit a microwave in there, or obviously air fryer. On your fridge freezer, to turn it on, press and hold this knob here, and as you can see it is powered on. So on these settings, if you want to go through these settings, the first one, push the knob in, I've got my temperature. If you want to change the temperature, push the knob again. I can now select the desired temperature I want. Next, if I want to select my source, push it once, move it down, press the source. So this is the power or the fuel I want to use. You've got auto setting, so auto is automatically selecting the best source it has available. Everyone usually leaves it on auto, so when you're on the engine it will use the battery symbol. When you're on mains hookup, it will automatically select these sources if you leave it on auto. You can manually select yourself. So you've got auto, which auto select. The battery one is when the engine's running. So the alternator is charging the leisure battery when driving, and then obviously this is taking a feed from the battery when the engine is on. Next one is gas. So obviously if you're off grid, you'll have it on gas. Plug socket, obviously when you're on mains hookup at campsite. And you've got a few other settings lower down as well. So you can turn on like a beep sound, lights and stuff like that. One thing to keep in mind, say if you are planning to head out for the weekend, turn your fridge on, turn it on full, just to get the temperature down as fast as possible. Try and do this an hour before you're setting off, because by the time then you're loading it up and then you're setting off travelling, then obviously your fridge is maintaining that cold temperature. To turn it off completely, press and hold the knob here and it will shut down. Here, another pantry. Like I said, you need to make sure that these buttons are in because they will slide open. Now we are in the shower changing room area. So you obviously got your shower cubicle there. These are on a magnetic strip in the middle, and then you have got a little locking plate here as well, just in case they do swing open. We have got drying racks at the top, so obviously any wetsuits or anything gets wet, you can hang it. Obviously it's dripping in the shower tray. Got your sink. Obviously, again, once you primed your water system on one tap, it will just vent out any air in the pipework and come straight through. Obviously your 12 volt system and pump needs to be on. You've got drawers, storage underneath. You've got light switches here for the middle of the motorhome, which is obviously the shower area, changing area. You've got storage in here as well. And then if we are wanting to get changed, we have got a privacy door which obviously joins there. We've got obviously your toilet. If you want to use your toilet, all you need to do is this grey blade here. You just need to open the toilet blade, and then obviously that will give you access to the toilet cassette when you are using it. Once you're not using it, shut the blade. That will stop any smells obviously coming back up. So as you can see, the blade is shut there. Here, the blue button is your flush. So the 12 volt system needs to be on, your pump needs to be on, because that's using fresh water from the fresh water tank. Here you have a symbol. So the symbol means that the toilet cassette symbol, when that lights up red/orange, that means the toilet cassette is full. So now we are in obviously the bedroom area at the rear of the motorhome. You've got your island bed. Like I said, this island bed is obviously adjustable in height. Obviously if you raise it, is a bit higher than this, then obviously it gives you more storage space in the garage area. You've got large wardrobe here, so you just twist these knobs here and they open the mechanism. Obviously hanging space. I think this one may have some shelves in it. Yep, like so. Same again, you've got some storage under the floor. You've got cupboards there and above. Large skylight again, blackout and fly screen. And then if you want privacy in the rear, you have got a partition door here. You just release this leather strap and then slide across. Same on this side, there is a door here. They meet in the middle. The beauty of this, obviously it gives, if someone wakes up in the front of the motorhome, obviously through the night, they've got, obviously you've got privacy where you're sleeping, and then obviously they've got privacy in the toilet as well. Or if one of you wake up early and want to make a coffee, then obviously you can shut this dividing door, which is great, and then obviously you're not disturbing people at the rear. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is underneath this floor here. There is quite a few compartments. I'm going to lift them panels up and show you what is underneath them. So as you can see, I have got the floor panels lifted up, and there is quite a lot of them, as you can see. Under this one here, obviously you've got your main breaker on the 240 volt side, so when you're connected to shore. Down here is your inverter, which is set to remote, but you can manually turn it on there as well. Here we have your leisure batteries. You've got a master switch here, so if you want to isolate the vehicle when you're not using it in winter, you can actually turn off the full main power. Here we have all your 12 volt side, so on the e-box here you've got all your fuses, so if one of the fuses blows, this is where you need to check. Got storage in the belly locker here, so this is what I was saying earlier. You can access this under the floor. This one, same again in the belly locker, but this is the one what goes all the way across underneath the motorhome. More storage. This is heated as well underneath here. And then here we come to your grey waste tank, the black one. You can take this blue cap off if you want to clean internally. And then the last one is going to be your fresh water tank. So on your fresh water tank, you can either fill up from here, worst case scenario, or this black valve here. That is how you open the freshwater tank to drain, or you can obviously close this valve to fill it up when you are ready to fill the tank up. And the third option is you can drain this tank to 20 litres for travelling. So as you can see underneath the floor panel, you've got a sticker which is indicating how that black knob works. So 2 times will fully open. To close it is in reverse. If you want to travel with 20 litres, close the black valve completely closed, fill up the tank, and then if you do a quarter turn back, that will then lift the valve up a little bit and drain it down to 20 litres for travelling. That's just obviously 1 to save weight, and then 2 obviously so you're not got a lot of water sloshing around when it's completely full. Storage again in there. So that is the instructional / overview video complete on the 2025 Hymer B-Class Masterline I890. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below, or you can always drop us an email or give us a call.